everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. And we are really excited today. We have another one of our Hall Star guests with us today. And I'm film critic Rachel Wagner, and Bree is here.
Hello, everybody.
And thank you so much to Andrea Lewis for coming to talking with us.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me. This is lovely.
Well, what we like to do with our new guests is we like to give you a chance to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how you got inspired to get into acting. How'd you get started?
Oh, well, okay. So I'm an actress and I'm a filmmaker, and I had a very fortunate beginning to the acting industry. My mom was approached by a casting director when I was a year old. She was walking with me in a mall, and the casting director was like, "Oh, your daughter's so cute. You should put her into like the business, basically, like, babe modeling, things like that." My mom really didn't know anybody doing that, so she was a little like, I'm not so sure. She took her card. The next year she was on maternity leave with my brother, and she had more time. So she called the woman, kept her card, called the woman, and the woman remembered us. And that's basically how I started. I started off doing print, doing like Sears catalogs and things like that. And I just kept progressing. I then went to commercials, and then it was like guest spots. And then it was just like kept going up and up and up. And so I was just very lucky. My mom always says I was like an entertainment baby, though. I was like singing and dancing and loved film and TV and just loved that stuff. So it's one of those situations for me that's like chicken or the egg. Would I be doing this if I didn't get the early start, or would I just have found my way to this regardless? But I always say I had a very fortunate and blessed entry into the entertainment industry, because not everybody has it that easy. And I definitely had a very easy way into it.
And you enjoyed doing it.
Cool.
Oh my God, I love doing it. And when I was a child, I really loved doing it. And my family, my parents were really great at like making like anything I wanted to do. They had the same enthusiasm. So if I wanted to do swimming lessons, if I wanted to do karate, like everything was treated the same, even if I was doing a commercial. So nothing felt like one was better than the other. They all felt just as important in my life. And it was more so my parents establishing that like Andrea has a life. She has her own life. She has her own activity. She does her own thing. So even when I was a little girl in school, I've had the same best friend since I was in kindergarten. And she met me as an actress. Because I was an actress when I was in kindergarten. And so I've been lucky that I've had enough normalcy around me that my child's actor life just felt like as if I just had a leg up in wanting to do the arts. That's how it felt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. You're like teen dream here. Okay. You have to tell us about Degrassi.
Yeah. So Degrassi is what most people know me from. And when I booked Degrassi, it was in the summer. I remember the audition process was like in the summer, and Degrassi is like a legacy show in Canada. And so there was one that was like established in the 80s and went into the 90s. And so when I was finding out about it, rather, I hadn't watched the show, but I had a friend who had an older sibling. And so she knew all about it. And I remember telling her like, "Oh yeah, I've got this audition tomorrow, like for this show, Degrassi." And she was like, "What? And I was like, yeah, like I knew it, but I didn't know it in that way.
Like no big deal, girl, whatever.
Yeah, it was like, okay. But at the time as well, I had, within the midst of my auditions for Degrassi, I was also auditioning for this Disney film called Cadet Kelly. And I actually booked Cadet Kelly before Degrassi. And so I went on to film that. It was basically over the course of a few months. And once I had wrapped on that, my agent called and was like, "I don't know if you remember when you were auditioning for Degrassi, but they wanted to know if maybe you want to come on as a recurring character." So on the first season of Degrassi, I started as a recurring character playing Hazel. And they were like, "Yeah, she's Paige's best friend. And you guys are kind of like the popular mean girls in school kind of thing."
Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/hallmarkies.
And it was really easy for me to do. It was halfway through their filming season. So, and when I walked onto the set, everybody was like really generous and really nice. And our audition process was so long that some of the people there I had met already in our auditions. Christina Schmidt, who played Terry, I already met her, Cassie Steele and Sarah Barable Tischauer, and they played Liberty and Manny. And I'd already met them in the audition. So it was like, you're like, oh, okay, hey, great, nice to meet you. And so it was like you just kind of, it was like I went from military school to regular high school within like 1 year pretty much. And so it was a really good experience. And what's really funny about Degrassi is it's like a cult favorite. It's like one of those things
really
that, like,
is.
Never ends.
Yeah.
It's like I constantly get, asked about it, talked about it, or talked to about it, and being tagged in something, and just it's a fascinating thing, because when you're a teenager at the time doing it, you're not thinking about that, right? Like you're not thinking, oh, how long is this going to last?
Yeah.
You're just doing it. You're just living.
Mhm.
And so to now be in my 30s and people are still talking about it, I'm like, hilarious. Like my teenage self thinks this is so funny.
Yeah, I definitely had a moment. I was like, Hazel from Degrassi. Because I just feel like our generation, like we did have like teen shows that felt real. And like,
Yes.
I don't like, my kids are like 14 and 12 now. And I don't feel like they have teen shows like we did. So it's just really special.
I think the teenage life of the early 2000s, middle 2000s, I will say it was very unique and very special. And teens look like teens on TV. Like everybody just kind of like was like a kid. And so I think in that way you got to see yourself and see what life could be like, which was just great. And Degrassi is absolutely that for a lot of people. So it's fun.
Yeah, it's true. And then now it's like terrible Netflix shows.
that are like more dramatic and more serious, or it's like, it's a whole other life. So
That's very cool. So let's talk about Nashville Legacy. Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about what the movie's about?
Yeah, so A Nashville Legacy is my latest film on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries, and it is about my character Naima going to Nashville to reconnect with her family roots. She's also studying studying ethnomusicology, and really she's even studying that to reconnect with her grandmother and music and just all of the things that she grew up with. She grew up in just a music-filled household because of her grandmother. And so Nashville was where her grandmother grew up. And she's like, I want to get back in touch with myself, with my family, and all of that kind of stuff. I love music. I want to get to know this city as well with it. And in that space and time, she kind of discovers a family secret that she didn't know about. And that just opens up a whole can of worms for her of trying to discover and figure out just what her grandmother's dreams really were and how she can be a part of them. But at the exact same time, she also meets a very cute boy named Damien, and they have this conflict of basically getting to know each other and really liking each other. But Damien is kind of attached to this can of worms that she's discovered.
Yes, the drama.
And the drama of it all, when you kind of meet somebody that you like and you're getting to know them. But then there's a real conflict that actually could potentially be very bad for both of their families. And so they are caught between a rock and a hard place, trying to figure out, like, what should we be doing? We like each other. We want to see the best for each other, but we also don't want to have anybody hurt in the process.
Because you enjoy escaping into Hallmark movies, we're pretty sure you're going to enjoy another podcast called Criminality about celebrities.
Specifically, reality personalities behaving badly in business, crime, and just generally.
Criminality is a show about the intersection of true crime and reality TV, hosted by good friends and lovers of bad TV, Melissa and Rebecca.
Every other Friday, they bring a new story about a reality TV star and their brush with crime, legal troubles, and trashy scandals.
On Criminality, you'll go way beyond the headlines with episodes about some of the OG reality stars like Anna Nicole Smith, Kim Kardashian, and Tarek Al Moussa.
And if Bravo is your reality TV flavor, you're in luck because they keep up with the endless tea pouring out from nearly all the Housewives franchises.
The fun never stops as Melissa and Rebecca remind us all that loving reality TV is not a crime.
Catch new episodes of Criminality every other Friday wherever you listen to podcasts and visit criminalityshow.com for more information.
That's criminalityshow.com. It's more drama or comedy, romantic comedy.
I'm like, it's a dramedy because there's definitely the mystery element to it. I'm like, it's like you went on a date while playing Clue. It's like, it's both of those things in one because we're solving, but we also like the person sitting across from us. So yeah.
Can you talk about like building the chemistry between you two?
Oh, between myself and Pooch Hall, who plays Damien, it was so easy for us. We were just instantly connected. We loved working with each other, and we just had a lot of fun. And so from our first day, when I look back on it, our first day of filming, I can't even believe it was our first day because we felt so connected. Like we're having long conversations. We're just getting to know each other as friends, and then also as our characters, and it came so naturally to both of us that we had the most fun, that we're like, we hope we get to do this again. It was great.
Awesome. Well, we hope we get to do it again.
Do you sing in the movie? Or
I don't do any singing in the movie. I know she's a music lover. She's like, that's why it's like ethnomusicology is such a interesting degree to get, because it allows her the ability to write about music, to talk about music, to just do everything she can with music. And she literally ends up interning at the National Museum of African American Music because that's how much she likes music. Me in real life, I'm a singer. I love music. And so I was just excited to be a part of a film that included music in this way, because I think if you are a music lover of any sort, then you just know everything feels good with music.
Yeah.
And in this film, we have jazz, we have soul, we have country, we have hip hop. Like we cover so many different bases of American music. Honestly, it's like this film to me is like very much Americana. It's great.
Yeah. And you can tell that just from like the previews and stuff that we've gotten, but like for you being in the movie, in the story, what do you hope viewers take away from it?
I hope honestly that viewers really think about legacy and think about their family. I think the most special part of the film, of the script, even for me, was Naima's love for her grandmother and her grandmother's dreams. I think that that's a real like big thing in terms of like, you know, I think about my own grandmother, who I see as a truly fascinating woman. And I think about her life, and I love hearing about just like the things she wanted to do, the things she got to do, and just when she was a young woman. And I think within this film, you see Naima not only get, you know, in touch with her grandmother's roots, but also really try her best to honor the woman that her grandmother was. It's not just this person that raised me, but it's like, I want to just really let her dreams be a real thing. I want people to see her as a real woman. And so I think when viewers come out of it, I hope they think about their own families like that, and just the women in their family that have big dreams, and if that, you know, if they got to live them out or not, and how you can take the baton and lead to the next generation kind of thing. That's what I hope they'd see.
I love that.
How do you feel about being part of the Mahogany brand?
I love it. I love being a part of the Mahogany brand. I love Hallmark. The Hallmark brand is such a staple, I think, just in pop culture. We all know Hallmark. We know the good time of it, right? Like whether you're watching the rom-coms, even the mysteries or the Christmas films, like we totally know it. So to see the Mahogany brand come out of it too, the Mahogany cards even, is just like such a staple that we all know. So to now know, okay, great, they're making these films that are representative of this community. I was so excited. And the film looks to me like the mahogany cards. It looks lush. It looks really beautiful. The colors. And yeah, I was really honored that I got this opportunity.
Well, we're excited. We're so
Thank you.
excited for you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Was
so
this-
here's go ahead.
Oh, I was
Rachel.
just gonna say, was this filmed in Nashville?
Yeah, we did film in
Okay.
Nashville, and it was my first time going to Nashville. So I was actually really excited because it was a great city. It lived up to the hype. And like I said, the National Museum of African American Music is in Nashville. It's a new building. It's like only a few years old, opened just before the pandemic. So it's like, it feels brand spanking new, and it's beautiful. And it's like right there in that like strip in Nashville that's like very popular. You know what I'm talking about?
That's cool. That's
so,
nice
yeah.
that
That's
it's
so
not
awesome.
a Vancouver pretending to be
Yeah, no, it was actually, we were there.
I mean, we love Vancouver, right?
Yeah, we
still.
love Vancouver, but still.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies. Well, while we have you here, we have to get to know, talking about legacy here, little things about you. So
Okay.
tell us, what's your favorite ice cream flavor?
My favorite ice cream flavor is probably cookies and cream. I would say. I was trying to decide if it was chocolate mint or cookies and cream, but I'm like, it's cookies and cream. I know.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. Sounds good. What is your favorite color?
My favorite color, you know what, that changes a lot. I'm going to say yellow. I'm a bright colors girl. So as long as bright colors are around, I'm doing my thing, but yellow is probably my go-to.
Okay, listeners, like right now, she has the cutest pink shirt on. So I was thinking we were going to go
I'm like
pink.
a bright colors person. Yeah.
I mean, in LA, I'm sure it feels like spring. So you're just like bringing all the spring energy.
Yeah, you can. I know, like you can change your wardrobe if you so wish, but at the same time, you could also like just be layered up. You know what I mean? Like it's sunny. So yeah.
Okay, music wise, what are you obsessed with right now?
What am I obsessed with right now? You know what? This is a shameless plug, but there's a country artist within the film named Kurt Chambers. And he has a song that we play within the film, and I'm actually genuinely obsessed with it. It's called Good Thing, and I play it constantly. And then also Flowers by Miley Cyrus. I'm like, I can't stop playing that.
I love it.
I'm like, that is my jam. I love that song.
Yeah. Is the music in the movie, is it country or is it more blues or?
It's a mix of everything. So we have country, like I said, from this artist, Kurt Chambers. We have soul music within it. We even have an appearance from Ruben Studdard, and he's like an incredible singer, and he sings basically like R&B. So we really do touch on like a lot of different styles within it.
Because that's what Nashville is.
That's what Nashville is.
Is.
That's what you don't realize, I think, is just how much culture is in Nashville, right? And like how much they love music there. Like it was a great city. And luckily within the film, I think we do a good representation of the feel of Nashville.
All right. Well, what is your go-to date night food?
Well, I'm a foodie. So I'm like, what is my go-to date night food? If it's either going to be Italian or the extreme opposite end, I want sushi. Like I want like really high end sushi, or I'll be like, no, I want like a full bowl of pasta. It's like one or the other.
Yeah. I think that sushi is a great date choice because it's very dainty. You're not going to get food spilled on you. Like,
yes. And you can have like a degree of it. You get to see kind of who the person is.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, so if we ever do a girls lunch, it has to be Italian, guys, because I don't do sushi.
Really? See, that's what I mean. You get to see who they are, because the person's either like, what's cooked on this menu, or they're like, I'm trying everything, even the wildest things. Like, so yeah, it's really great.
Yeah.
Okay. So like dream date, what would your activity be?
My dream date. Oh, that's a good question. What would I like to do? Honestly, I like a full day date. So I'd love like we go to brunch and then maybe we go to a museum and then we like end it like going to a show. And that could be a movie or that could be a play. But I love like a person that thinks of like multiple activities to do on a date, because, and especially if it's in the daytime, like if I can be home by 9, then I'm like, we are rolling. We have had a great day.
What you should do is you should have the movie in the middle of the,
like
of the date.
That's what I mean. Like something that's like kind of mixes it up, but you have like, but it will also encourage conversation. It'll give you like a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Like, I love stuff like that.
Because you can talk about the movie and you can also tell a lot about people by their thoughts on the movie.
What their thoughts on a movie are, or how
like,
they
that's
behave in a movie. You know what I mean? Like you get to see a lot. So, and that's what I'm perfectly fine with like somebody, especially if it's a new person, if you're like, oh, let's go on a date and they have a few things on the itinerary, you're like, great, let's get a few things out of the way. Like let me really see you.
Yeah.
I might not really get a full sense of who you are within our, 1 hour dinner or something like that. Like, so let's do a few things. I'll see you at 9. We'll do brunch. Yeah.
Well, it's attractive because then they've like planned, put like real planning into it.
Real planning. I love a date like that. It's my favorite.
All right. Which do you like better, dogs or cats?
Dogs all the way. I'm like not a cat person.
Okay. The beach or the mountains?
The beach. What? The beach. I'm like, if somebody actually, that's my anti-date. If they took me, like, if they're like, let's go hiking those mountains, I'd be like, okay,
what?
I'll tell you now, this is not going to happen. You seem lovely, but we're not doing this. Yeah.
Yeah. Going hiking would be like, okay, maybe I don't want to go on this date.
That's a test. Yeah.
Very LA for somebody to suggest a hike as a date. So.
All right. What is your favorite holiday to celebrate?
My favorite holiday is Thanksgiving because I love the food. I love Thanksgiving food. So hands down, Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. I love it.
Cool.
Okay.
Good.
So this may be your upcoming movie, but besides A Nashville Legacy, what is your favorite romantic film?
Oh, my favorite romantic film is actually The Holiday. The Holiday with Cameron Diaz, Kate Winslet, Jude Law, Jack Black. I love that movie. I could watch that movie over and over and over. And if Christmas or any of the holidays start to come and I don't see it, I'm like, this wasn't even a holiday because I didn't get to see that film. I just love it. I love the like reestablishing of relationships and them just trying to find themselves. And I just love that movie.
Jack Black was such a good rom-com.
Movie. They're like charming and it's like Kate Winslet is like getting over somebody and like dealing with unrequited love, which we all experience. Like, I love that movie. Just love it.
Yeah, it's so good when the old man is like, you've made yourself the supporting player in your story.
Yes.
When you're a leading woman.
When you're a leading lady, it will like get you together. It like reminds you of it's like every time I watch that movie, I'm like, this is perfect.
Yes.
Well, we need a remake now and you need to be in it. So
Thank you. And then what I watched recently and I was like, this needs a remake very much. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. I watched that recently. Yeah. For one, it's the craziest film. And it's actually, whether we realize it or not, it's basically a blogger before a blogger. She has a column just doing how to, but I'm like, now we watch that on TikTok. Like now I watch how-tos all day. So, but it was so funny and so cute that I'm like, we need an update of that. So yeah,
that would be fun. I could see that. Actually, romantic comedies end up doing remakes quite well.
They really do, and I actually kind of think we're in like a romantic comedy
resurgence.
Like there's so many now.
Finally,
and like a real variety of, it's very, very, very interesting.
Well, thank you so much for coming and talking with us. We really appreciate it. And do you have social media that you want to share?
Yes, I will plug my socials. You guys can find me on Instagram at Andrea Lewis. And pretty much, yeah, like that's my name on everything. So you'll find me easy peasy.
Okay,
Great.
good.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
ladies.
Bye.
Bye. We'd like to thank Andrea for coming on the podcast. This was super fun to get to talk with her. We had a great time. And Bree, where can people find you?
I am at Bree Unabashedly on social media, and I co-host the Categorically Romance podcast. And shout out to Andrea. She was the sweetest, Rachel.
Yeah, so fun. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. Check that out. Also, make sure you're following the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast, all of our social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. That really helps us a lot. And if you are listening on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And please just check out the Patreon and merch store. We really appreciate that support. And thanks again to Andrea, and we'll talk to y'all later.
Bye, everybody.